It was just after sunrise. The forest was quiet, filled with soft mist rolling over the thawing ground. The first traces of spring were visible, tiny buds on birch trees, patches of melting snow along the riverbank, and the soft hum of dripping water. As the rangers drove along the dirt trail in their all-terrain vehicle, they noticed something unusual. A ripple in the mud, a dark shape barely moving. The closer they came, the clearer it became. A large moose, its legs trapped deep in the wet, sticky mud of a riverbank depression. The moose's eyes reflected a mix of fear and confusion. Each movement pulled it further into the thick mud, and its breathing was slow but uneven. The forest around them was still, as if it, too, was watching quietly. The female ranger knelt beside the edge of the pit, careful not to slip. She studied the moose's position, noting how the mud gripped its legs. "He's not panicking too much yet," she whispered. "That's a good sign. But we need to move carefully." The male ranger circled the pit slowly, looking for solid ground where they could set ropes and leverage points. The sun peeked through the fog, casting a warm glow over the scene, giving it a soft, almost sacred feel. Time seemed to stretch. The moose struggled gently, trying to pull its legs free. With each movement, the mud resisted, sucking harder at its limbs. Its ears flicked nervously, sensing the presence of humans, but also the quiet reassurance in their calm movements. The rangers exchanged a glance. They knew that sudden moves could spook the moose and make it thrash, worsening its predicament. The fog shifted, revealing patches of the river running slow and clear nearby. Water reflected the sky, pale blue and soft pink from the morning light. In that reflection, the moose's face appeared solemn, its large, dark eyes meeting the ranger's gaze briefly. There was a moment of mutual acknowledgement, strangers in a fragile trust. They began setting up a series of ropes anchored to trees and boulders. One ranger spoke softly to the moose, words meant more for tone than content. "Easy, easy now, we'll get you out." The sound of human voices, calm and steady, seemed to soothe the animal slightly. Before attempting to pull the moose out, the rangers studied the mud pit carefully. It was deeper than it looked from a distance. The earth had turned to a thick, slippery clay as the snow melted, forming a trap too tight for the moose to escape on its own. Branches, sticks, and rocks were scattered along the edge. The female ranger placed them gently around the moose, creating small footholds where it might push against during extraction. They noted the animal's breathing pattern and body tension. Its back legs were most stuck, sinking at an angle. Each small movement risked exhaustion, so they decided to act slowly and deliberately. The male ranger checked the nearby riverbank for heavier branches and logs that could help leverage the ropes. Sunlight glinted off the wet mud, making the pit seem both beautiful and dangerous at the same time. The rangers took a pause. Communication with the moose wasn't words, it was presence, tone, and patience. They crouched, avoided sudden gestures, and kept their voices low. The female ranger whispered, "Almost there, just a little more calm." She made slow, deliberate movements, showing no threat. The moose seemed to understand, its body relaxing slightly. Every few minutes, the rangers adjusted the ropes, checked the anchors, and gave the moose a chance to push gently. The forest around them remained hushed, filled with distant bird calls and dripping water from melting snow. It felt almost ceremonial, an unspoken acknowledgement between human and animal. Finally, the ropes were in place, anchored securely to trees that had stood for decades. The male ranger tugged gently, testing the resistance. The moose flinched but did not panic. Step by step, they began to pull. The moose pushed against the footholds the female ranger had placed, coordinating in a quiet rhythm. Each inch was hard-earned. Mud splashed softly, and the sound of the moose's hooves against the sticky ground punctuated the silent forest. They worked in tandem, human strength and animal instinct blending. The rangers paused often, letting the moose catch its breath, speaking softly to keep it calm. Minutes felt like hours, but slowly, the moose began to rise. Its front legs finally cleared the worst of the mud, and its body shifted, relieving some of the pressure. The female ranger brushed mud from its coat gently, careful not to startle it. "You're doing so well," she murmured. The moose shook slightly, sending droplets of water and mud into the air. Its eyes, dark and glossy, seemed almost grateful in the morning light. The male ranger repositioned the ropes for the final pull. The tension in the forest was quiet but palpable. They were all aware of the fragility of the moment. One wrong move could undo hours of careful work. With one final coordinated effort, the moose's legs were free. It stumbled onto firmer ground, shaking mud from its hooves and coat. Then it stood fully upright, scanning the forest around it. There was no dramatic sprint, no loud celebration. Just a slow, deep inhale and a moment of stillness. The moose flexed its muscles, testing the ground, and then looked back once at the rangers before turning toward the river. It walked steadily, almost regally, back to the open water, the soft sunlight illuminating its fur. The forest seemed to exhale. The rangers remained by the edge of the mud pit, quiet smiles on their faces. There was no need for words. The rescue had been a shared understanding of patience, care, and trust. The fog was beginning to lift completely now, revealing the thawing forest in full morning light. Birds called softly from the treetops. The moose's tracks led back into the riverbank, disappearing into the soft mud and snow. The female ranger knelt, brushing her hands together to remove mud. "Every rescue is a reminder," she said quietly. "Trust, patience, small kindnesses." The male ranger nodded, looking at the calm river. "And quiet observation. We're only guests here." They packed their ropes and tools, leaving the forest as untouched as possible. The moose had returned to its world, and they returned to theirs, carrying the memory of a silent, shared moment. Back at the ranger station, they made a brief report. No headlines, no excitement. Just a simple note: moose safe, healthy, and free. In the forest, life continued. Snow melting, streams flowing, buds slowly opening. The moose moved through the trees, strong and cautious, aware of the humans but unafraid. The morning sun touched the riverbank, glinting on water droplets still clinging to leaves and moss. Somewhere in the distance, a bird called, and the forest resumed its quiet rhythm. The rescue was over, but the memory lingered, a gentle testament to trust, care, and the quiet power of patience.